Good afternoon. Today we're going to look at some additional troubleshooting issues relating to the AQUAS shower heater, and in particular about the lack of hot water. In some of our earlier videos we'd already looked at the removal of the lock switch, and we also looked at the position of the power button or the eco button to make sure that it's in the level position, and we also checked that when we hold in the power button, the micro switch on the inside of the heater is already giving hot water. So if there is still some issue about the lack of hot water, we need to check inside the heater and see what the problem really is. So again, we need to remove the cover, and before we do that, we should absolutely cut the electric supply for maximum safety. And again, we can just check that on off button to make sure there's nothing coming through the shower, so we can now safely remove the cover. So now that we've removed the cover and I'm looking at the inside of the water heater, everything looks to be in perfect working order. So now what I'm thinking is that the issue is probably something to do with the interaction of the cover onto the heater platform. So what we've done is we've created this cutaway section in the cover so that I can put the cover on and have a look inside and see what the problem is. Okay, so now that we've fitted this dummy cover, we can check to make sure that the eco housing is sitting directly on top of the micro switch, and if the eco button is in the level position, this should provide the correct amount of hot water. And in a 100% perfect installation, this housing would sit directly on top. But in this particular case, we can see that there is a very, very small gap which is causing a lack of contact between the eco housing and the micro switch, and what we need to do is we need to close that gap to make sure that the hot water can flow correctly. So logic tells us that we can either bring the back cover forward or bring the micro switch forward to meet the eco housing, and that would be the easiest way to resolve this issue. So in order to bring this micro switch slightly forward and close the gap between the eco housing, I'm thinking that the easiest solution is to fit some spacer washer behind the two screws that hold the relay or the micro switch to the heater. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to remove the micro switch from the heater. And just disconnect the two wires. Okay, and now we've removed the micro switch. So here we have the micro switch and with the two fixing screws, and what we've decided to do is we're going to fix one or two little washers to the back of the screws that sit between the micro switch and the back platform of the water heater. And each one of these little washers is 1 millimeter, so we're going to fit two just to make sure that we close the gap and allow the contact to be made. So we can now going to return this micro switch to the heater. So again, we've returning the micro switch to the heater, and we've reconnected the live wires, allowing hot water to the cylinder. So what we're going to do, just to make sure that we've adequately closed the contact gap, is we'll just return this heater, the cover, and here we can hear that the cover is now sitted correctly, and that there is now zero gap between the eco housing and the micro switch. So now we should have a perfect supply of hot water. So now we can return our real cover to the heater. And we can open the electric supply and turn on the shower, and hopefully now we've got a full supply of hot water. And I hope that fixed the problem. So If you have any further issues or you want to have a look at some of our other troubleshooting videos, do visit our site at www.aquaShowers.co.uk.